Hi.
I'm here with Johnny at the EDELRID headquarters, and this time I have some moderation cards, so it's gonna be less fun and more talk.
Okay.
But I think in the end, I would say for most of the stuff I have, we can just toss them away.
Okay.
And have an open talk. And I think you've guessed it from my surroundings. We will talk about helmets.
Yeah, let's do that.
And for two reasons. One, to get your ideas, your wishes, your thoughts on helmets. I've got some more or less specific questions.
Good.
And then we are working on a work safety helmet,
Good.
which you might have seen while wandering around the company.
Okay.
And now I wanted to show them, to explain the ideas behind the helmets. And you can ask questions, I'll ask you questions.
Good.
And yeah, let's just
Jump into it.
jump into it. If you want, you can introduce yourself again.
Hey, Johnny Corthius, arborist / EDELRID enthusiast. Actually, I don't have a title here yet. We're working on that.
I like EDELRID enthusiast.
Yeah, EDELRID enthusiast. That seems to roll off the tongue. Helmets are something that are near and dear. I do many different things. So I have helmets for parachute activities, helmets for work, helmet for climbing, helmet, you name it. Like I have many, many helmets. And in the past, because I've been an ambassador for several brands and I've been a sponsored athlete, I get a lot of helmets because they're a convenient way for companies to, give you stuff and have you, and because you're always wearing it. And man, I've learned a lot. We're not going to say any specific names, but there are some brands that are on the market, specifically in arboriculture, that have no business doing what they're doing because they haven't put a lot of in-field thought into their designs. So I'm excited to jump into this with you because it's something that I've thought about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we as developers have thought about it a lot too.
Me too, because we're on camera now and I'm going to be honest.
And I think what's difficult is we as a company, I mean, not talking about sports in specific because this is like a whole topic, but we don't want to make a specific helmet for a specific user because you always end up having a lot of helmets for one need, but in the end we want to have one that serves like every purpose. But
something that's relatively adaptable.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense. Yep.
And what we've seen, for instance, in the arboriculture and arborism is that people like the Salate helmet because it's so light. So when you do like tree care and you're just climbing with your hands, so it's I would say the perfect helmet.
Yep.
Which is this one or a variation of this one, and this one is the lighter version. Of course, it comes from mountaineering.
Yep, I have one. I love it. In fact, I base jump with it, and I obviously rock climb and stuff with it. And then also specifically in arboriculture, there are some contracts that require you to have extremely lightweight equipment because maybe we have to hike for miles before we get to where we have to work, or we have to get dropped off with a helicopter, and you only have up to 100 pounds that you can bring on the helicopter because there's weight restrictions. So sometimes, things like this are great.
Yeah, and then I mean, we have this helmet and it works pretty good in the tree can. It wasn't really developed for this.
No, of course not.
It worked out, and that's fine. But then I think the issue is at some point you will have a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Which means you need some protection for your ears and eyes.
Ear Pro, yep.
And this is when the new helmet comes in, and I think I'll just show you what we have.
Yeah, and I see that like you have, that's called a Zodiac.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Zodiac.
Yep, that was a nice version. Obviously a little bit heavier as compared to the Salate. What do you call it? Salith?
Salate.
I've always called it Salate. Yeah. From Yosemite, obviously. Okay, yeah. So then now this helmet was great, hard shell, a little bit more durable and stuff like that. I also like that you can mount a headlamp quite easily to it, and it's a very clean looking helmet. But yeah, moving into Ear Pro and Eye Pro eventually, but Ear Pro specifically for use of chainsaw is going to be really important.
That's the one that I use at the moment when I'm working at heights.
Yep.
For two reasons. One, I like the hard shell on the outside because then it's a bit more durable if you just toss it in your bag. And secret pro tip, what I do if I have gloves and I'm not wearing them,
I just stash them on the back. Yeah, for sure. Another nice thing about this helmet over the Salate is that if you are going to wear something underneath your head, be it a thin layer, a buff, or a do-rag or something, having the adjustable fit here just on a dial is much nicer than having like the straps, just because the straps do tend to kind of get all over the place. Plus, if you have ear hardware like I do, I need those straps to be able to be available so that I can get them down onto my jawline. So yeah, I've always liked that helmet quite a bit. But moving into work with ear protection, I'm not a big in-ear protection guy because I need to be able to hear and then not hear and
exactly,
hear and then not hear, right? So I use muffs, yep.
Yeah, good that you say that you like this, because the actual work safety helmet
was modeled after.
Exactly,
yeah,
it's close to this, and I'll just start with the white one, just to see, and don't mind the sample stickers because we're still in development, obviously.
For sure.
But the construction is pretty much the same, or
similar. Yeah.
Like
so you've got a
inside.
High density expanded foam, or what do you call this?
Well, let me. It's EPS.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then ABS on the shell.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, obviously this inner construction is to absorb the shock.
That's right.
And yeah, this is pretty much it. Have a look.
So I see we got adjustable venting, which is super cool. That still means that this will be a Class C helmet. And then I do see one here without vents, so we can go into a Class E helmet there. Yep, there we go. Hand seat, Type 1, Class C. Yeah, having the adjustable vents is great. I mean, I primarily work in Canada, so being able to turn the vents on and off is a major asset. I also like the contrast on those vents, actually. That's really sharp looking.
Well, if you like sharp looking, then check out this one.
Oh yeah, high vis, man. I dig it. Yeah. Oh, and that's actually... So these high vis decals are obviously cut for that helmet.
Exactly, and they are one of the accessories of the few we have.
Oh, neat. Okay, cool.
So you can.
I like that texture too. Actually, that's great.
Another.
So that'll fit on here.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. Cool.
And also obviously on the close version.
Actually, yeah, I quite like that profile, that mini brim. It looks quite nice on there. Cool. And then wide cut ears. That's super duper important. If these are too narrow, depending on the size of your head, you can run into problems with your ear pro and the way that it interfaces. I have a very narrow and small head, and I know that sometimes with other helmets, the way that this is cut really matters, because if my muffs don't quite clear this, or if they rub back here, or if I have a visor or something, it can be a real nightmare. So I like that you've thought about that. Yeah, good.
But before I show you the other accessories, let's get back to the vents, because I have quite a discussion I've had in the past when I was still working in event technology. Is that to the standard as it is now, the EN 397 standard, which is the one for working at height, does not allow big vent openings.
Which kind of makes sense.
But then for me, what I always had is like, I think this should be in your risk assessment, you know.
For sure, and it would be, yeah. Exactly. Like, I mean, sharp overhead or protruding objects, depending on your area of operation, is going to be a part of it. Yep.
Yeah, and then the same goes for the chin strap opening.
Yeah.
Because I always had a feeling that in case of a fall, I want the helmet to be on my head, and I always thought that the risk of strangulation is rather small. While working in height, because you don't want to have any objects below you anyways where you can get caught on.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to consider with the chin strap especially, and other companies have addressed this with a setting. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's a setting on the buckle that allows you to set it for a certain threshold of lift, because there's the conversation to be working up at height with this helmet, but also there's the conversation of walking around on the job site before you're working at height, or if you're working in like a supervisory capacity, your harness will be on site in the event of a rescue or something, but you might not actually be functioning at height. And if there were, for instance, overhead hoisting, machinery around, and it were to hook that helmet, there is something to be said about allowing that helmet to break away, as opposed to potentially lifting you off the ground, or if not lifting you off the ground, causing some type of spinal trauma, right? Because if this is mounted to your chin and it's getting lifted up like this, I would much rather have that helmet leave my head than get me to a point where I'm having like vertebral problems. So that is a consideration. But yeah, I mean, you got to have buckles, you got to have a strap, and you got to be rated for side impact. And it looks like these are totally covering all that. In terms of the vent size opening, I'm not familiar with any I guess, tests or certifications talking about the size of the vents. But one thing that I do notice on here right away is that there is a nice void. There's a certain amount of room in between these vents and your actual head, which makes a huge difference, because although a helmet shell might be breathable, if it's only breathable for, you know, this much room off of your head, you tend to hold on to that hot air. Whereas having that void in there it's great. And I know that from mountain biking, because, you know, having space in between the shell of the helmet and your head in combination with ventilation is super important. So yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, and in terms of the buckle, to get a bigger picture of this, the two standards, so the Mountaineering 1249-2 for the helmets and the 397, those are the ones we are obviously working with.
Yeah.
The working at height, sometimes they prefer the Mountaineering standards because you get the ventilation, your helmet stays on in case of a fall. And
right.
And the 397, they are now reworking this at the moment.
Okay.
Our helmets, we are still going probably through the certification of the standard as it is for now. But then later on, they're going to have a Type 1 and Type 2. And the Type 1 of the 397 standard will be very close to the Mountaineering standard.
Oh, cool.
So then you can have like a proper helmet for working at height and not a helmet for a job site, which can be rather Type 2.
Well, that's awesome.
And then at the moment for the buckle, what we would need to do is we said we're going to have one that you exchange in a different color.
See. Okay.
And then you've got a marking on the buckle, 1249.
There we go.
2, and then on the inside, you always have on the marking, it always say, hey, red buckle.
Yep.
For the Mountaineering helmet, and then you have to close the vents, and then you have open the vents, then you have a Mountaineering helmet, and if
that makes sense.
Close them, you have a working at height.
Yeah, cool. And then I see, like, you know, it'll be easy to thread that buckle in and out.
Exactly.
You know, you've thought about that, because, you know, other companies, the way that the webbing is slung throughout the helmet, taking buckles on and off and even adjusting can require like letting slack out entirely or totally undoing. So having it just here on the bottom jaw portion is super cool. Smart. Cool.
So again, in your risk assessment, you would say, hey, I'm working at height. 99% of the time, I'll go with this one and thread it.
Gotcha.
Through. Yeah.
Okay. Roger that.
Okay, and then...
and then I see that one, no vents.
Exactly, no vents.
So there's your Type E helmet. Yeah.
Exactly, which is also interesting for the electrical certification.
Yep. Yeah, certain contracts mandate that you have them. I know when I was working on the forest fires in California, that was something that, you know, you literally couldn't have vents. You weren't allowed to operate if you had vents on, so you had to run a Type E. And even to this day, at my company back home, we have helmets for everybody that are both C, and we have a full run in Type E. Just because certain job sites, certain contracts, you need to be able to adapt, right? Primarily, you know, day-to-day arboriculture operations, they wear vented helmets. But when we get into some of the more technical jobs, working for utilities or in a rope access situation, we tend to put on our Type E's. So cool. Solid color, shiny. Obviously, you're going to sell a sticker that sits in there perfectly. That is a high contrast, right?
Oh boy, this will take some effort. Yeah, what do you think about pink helmets?
What do I think about them?
Yeah, colorful helmets.
I mean, to each their own, no judgment.
Okay, because my approach is always to, I don't see the helmet. You know, I can annoy others with the color. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
I don't see it. Yeah, and then it was also because I used to have a pink helmet, and my idea was so that no one would take it. You know, it's a pink one that takes it, and someone stole it from a job site.
Well, yeah, it was the only pink helmet.
It was the only pink helmet.
I was like, that totally makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I'd wear one, but it doesn't really roll with my company colors, so I think I'll probably stick with
we also
white or the high vis for now,
Yeah, the high vis looks great. Yeah, and then the other colors we have, obviously a black one.
Yeah, you got to have an all black helmet.
And all colors will come in a ventilated and...
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And then also a red.
Yeah, red. Very cool. Yeah, red works for my company colors as well.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, black on black. Like I have a thing. Like I'm almost always just wearing black, but this is a sharp looking helmet for sure. And then of course, when we start bolting on accessories, we can make this look super ninja.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Okay, then let's have a look at the accessories. Where should we start?
We should start with ear protection, because when it comes to ear protection, it's essentially mandatory, especially for my industry, working with saws and loud tools. Also chippers and things like that. We don't come out of the tree and then switch our helmet. It's one helmet for the day, right? So
then let's same helmet, ventilated, black, already a bit used.
Yep. So you have the normal like 3M style slots here.
Exactly.
And then you got a 2-stage spring on here. Exactly. Now, one thing that I come across quite a bit, as well as my wife actually, because we both we have small heads. You really need to watch out with the clearance and the tolerance that come off of these molded wires. Now, you can bend these wires so that they can work around different accessories, but one thing that we run into quite a bit in the industry is if this ear cut is a little bit too wide or isn't quite tall enough, depending on the size of your head, the muff can get hung up right there, which doesn't give you a good seal. So you kind of have to like lever it underneath. But if you lever it underneath, it can catch on this, which can be a problem. Now, again, I haven't worn the helmet, so I don't know if that's going to be the case here. And then the other thing that you have to sometimes watch out for is if you do have a visor, and the visor mounts obviously forward of the muffs like they usually do, except for the ones that slot in to this bracket. Sometimes the hinge portion of the visor can catch right here too. And although it will feel like it clicks when it's being held up just that little bit of a gap can be a real problem. Now, I know helmets tend to want to be one size fits most, right? Or you'll have like a size 1 and a size 2, but specifically the shape of this ear cut and then the way that this wire interacts with your accessories is a very important thing to consider, because it has been enough for me in the past to like take it. If the muff doesn't seal, and I try 2 or 3 different muffs and they don't seal, frankly, I'm just gonna try a different helmet, right? And so I am curious. I will end up, I'm sure, using this helmet and learning more about it. But from what I see right here, there's quite a bit of clearance here, so it should be okay. Yeah.
There is actually a standard testing for this. Obviously, the earmuffs are tested on how much they muffle the sound.
Yep.
But then you also need to test
decibel rating.
compatibility with a helmet.
Yeah.
So technically, you can't take any earmuff that fits and put it on. They need to be compatible.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But then again, this is a standard test, and they don't have 100 or thousands of heads testing. It's just one standard head, and if it fits, it fits. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And that's the problem, of course, when you start dealing with something that like a standard size head. Like I guarantee, like what do you wear? Do you even know? In terms of like the band around your head, because I'm 7 1/8.
I don't. I wear.
And my wife is probably a size 7. Is just like a 7, and then another guy on my crew is like a 7.5. Like he's got a giant head, so. Yeah, all one size helmet, but I mean, you know, you've addressed that with the adjustment here. I'm glad that you went with a single pivot and you didn't go with the one. I've worn other helmets that have an adjustment back here in terms of depth, and then they have another hinge pivot here. That hinge pivot, even in use, tends to migrate back, and then you have a helmet that's trying to flop off. Then you get to a point where you're tightening it so much that it's squeezing on the back of your head, and then yet again, give me something different. So. Yeah, I like that single pivot. Now, one thing that I run into, like as an instructor, I have to pack my helmet a lot. Like it goes in suitcases and it goes in haul bags and stuff. And usually, just from that compression, there's places in here that end up getting folded. It doesn't look like it'll be too bad in this case. Like only time will tell. But that is something to consider. I mean, it is only really deflecting about.
Yeah, the idea of this adjustment is that the lowest position is actually the one for packaging.
Okay.
So
and then once you put it on, it comes down. Well, there you go. That makes sense.
You're on the safe side.
I also noticed that these straps are completely independent from this. That's something that on other brands, they put a slot in there that if you did want to run those straps in there, it works. But I find that on a small head, the straps deflect that fitting mechanism, and it can be a little bit of a problem. So this looks, I mean, right away, this looks like it's going to be a solid setup.
Yeah, it's quite tough to. I mean, you mentioned the different head sizes, but then some people have hair, others don't. This is also
yeah.
This is also something you need to work your way around, and then some people wear glasses or earrings.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
earrings being the classic one, right? But these ones have enough adjustment in that strap that I'd be able to get mine be inside the V. Not that it's really that big of a deal, but if you do have big ears, you want your muff to be able to clamp on your ear without clamping on this, because that's going to obviously provide a gap. But I think that, yeah, these are just the ones that flip up and then you just drop them down. So that's pretty easy to adjust. There it goes. Go to your home. There it goes. And then having that muff come down. Yeah, like it feels right away like I've got pretty good margin.
Yeah.
Hey.
Good, yes.
Yeah, there's good space there. It's making a really nice tight seal. And I've got clearance in there. And it doesn't fall off the back of your head. That's huge too. Cool. Visors.
Visors.
What you got?
Okay, okay.
So right away, I see what you got there on the floor. And as somebody who's operated with helicopters quite a bit, I'm just going to bring it up.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you're getting to it, but some people might look at this and be like, why would you have a visor, you know, with that little opacity? And I know that the answer is coming. And this is something that is sorely needed in the industry because, dude, our visors take abuse.
Yeah.
A lot of abuse, yeah. Now this is cool. The fact that those slot right into the helmet, that's something that I haven't seen before. Most of the time on helmets, there's some type of a mount that needs to be screwed in or something like that, which, I mean, it has its benefits, but this is pretty cool. So you're literally able to swap this without tools.
Exactly.
By pressing on a button.
Yeah.
And you can put those in and out without tools.
Yeah.
Sweet. Now in terms of longevity, that's clicking. Oh, okay. So that literally clicks. There's a tooth there. And then do you get in there with a fingernail or
No,
do you just pull?
I'll just pull.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's not too bad.
No, and it still provides enough
Oh man.
frictional force to.
But if you did want to get in there like and help it a little bit, you can. It's fully
yeah.
accessible. Oh, buddy. It's little things like that that make such a big difference. That's awesome.
And then, of course, this would only make sense if you had
Different visors.
different visors. Let me look through my stuff. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you got to have different visors. I mean, at some point we got to get some super flashy, like, you know, Zeal Optics branded cool stuff there. But this is nice. I like the index. And another thing that I like that you guys did is you put this edge on the top of the visor that interfaces with that mini brim. Other helmets, you know, they come down and they rub on the helmet, which can be a little bit of a problem. It beats up the helmet. Now, other helmet manufacturers have the visor come down and in, which is fine as well. But what's cool about this is you don't have to pull on the visor to put it up. It's really simple. And you can do it from the side without having to put your hand all over the visor. Cool.
And then, of course, for those two, this one goes on top.
See, and this is something that I'm not aware of anybody else in arboriculture or work at height that's doing this, but this is really smart. Like with a helicopter pilot's helmet, you have this specifically to look after your visor. So you have this as like a visor guard. So I'm guessing this just clicks in, hey?
Exactly on the side. Then you have to
Probably, oh, I see it. Yeah, so it interfaces with that little notch there. And then it lines up. So one. And does that actually go, or no, it stops.
It stops, exactly.
Okay. So then that hides your visor. So now, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So for packing and moving it around, even just getting around the job site when it's not in use, it's actually being shielded. And then if you did need to clean it, the whole visor is available here for you with some type of like a soft cloth. Of course, it does cover up the EDELRID logo. So we need to figure out how to get some branding on this.
Right. You have a problem, we have the solution.
Yeah, you do. There it is.
Some early...
So this was the early version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, and then if this does this, and I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have thought about this yet, but you know, by nature of tree work, especially when you are up there, there's lots of branches and stuff. So there might be a conversation to be had about this getting snagged and being pulled off the helmet. I'm not saying that we would necessarily need to change the design, but it is something that we've run into in the past. Just, you know, for instance, some of the early Bluetooth communication systems that we would put in our helmet. They would just clip onto the back here,
Okay.
or they would just be on like, it'd be like a little buckle. And what would happen is we would occasionally catch it, and then all of a sudden we'd lose comms, and it's because our little module would fall all the way to the ground. So I think that if I was going to have this on my helmet, I might actually figure out a way that it has just a little bit less of a chance to come off. I mean, that's, even if it did get snagged, you would notice that happen, and it still hasn't fallen off the helmet. So maybe it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, you have like 3 points where it catches on the side.
Yeah, to me, it seems probably just fine. Plus, you don't want to get into a situation where it's like really, really bulky and you're, modifying the helmet. I like that. I would definitely use that. Look at that. So clean. How dark is the, oh, here it is. Oh, yeah. Sweet. That'll do. I'm excited to try it. Might take it home. Yeah, that's cool. Whose idea was this?
Well, I think it was more of a necessity when I'm asking people.
Really?
And looking around. Yeah, because you have a visor, and we come from mostly from tree care and working outside, and also we've got Daniel screwing bolts into rock.
Yeah, I do the same thing. You're just getting all that dust, all that limestone,
particles, and you don't wanna scratch your visor.
Yeah, it's so simple and kind of brilliant. Good for you guys. Yeah. Oh, you can, and a lot of people and a lot of companies, they don't want to put a whole bunch of stickers on their helmet, but you can put as many stickers on this thing as you want, right?
Exactly.
Very cool. Awesome.
You can also put stickers on the visor.
Yeah, if you really want to be cool, right? Yeah, you got to sell branding right across
People wear
there.
sunglasses in a club, then why not put a sticker,
on your visor? Cool, man. All right.
Okay.
What are you going to call this thing, though? What's it?
TECTUM. Oh, sorry, I haven't. TECTUM.
TECTUM?
TECTUM.
TECTUM.
TECTUM. TECTUM.
All right.
It's a part of the brain, if you're wondering where the name comes from.
What does that part of the brain do?
I have no idea.
Oh, good talk. TECTUM.
Some part of the brain.
Protect, TECTUM. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, TECTUM, yeah.
I dig it.
Gets it.
Do you guys have any plans for like a face shield or anything else? Yeah?
Right there.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, and then
I actually fully didn't know that, for the record. I was just asking because sometimes I'm not doing tree work. Sometimes I'm doing rope access work, and we're using grinders and things like that. And visors are a good start, but having a full face shield is even better. Yep.
yeah, so
Of course, TECTUM. That's the
and
name.
then TECTUM Air.
Oh,
it's ventilated.
there you go. Allows air in.
But let's.
Now, of course, we need to figure out a battery-powered welding visor that we can flip down from that helmet too. No, it's a good-looking lid, man. I'm pretty pumped on it for you guys.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and you still have the headlamp accessories. You still have a place here that if you wanted to hard mount a headlamp on there, that'd be good.
Unfortunately, we don't have a headlamp.
Well, we'll work on it. Yeah,
we'll work on
later
it.
problem. Yeah, there's a visor. So
And
you
then-
want polycarbonate there.
Exactly, of course, you.
Yeah. And it just clicks in. Nice. Okay.
This one is. There you go.
Let's have a look at that.
Oh, I think it's the. Oh, that's it. Yeah, sorry, my fault.
Oh. Got this one out.
This is something that.
Oh, there's the mesh. Perfect.
Yeah, the mesh, but this is something we're still working on.
Okay.
Because at the moment there are 2 adapters, which later on will not be the case. We'll have
I
one,
see.
so-
I see there, though.
And they are slightly different because we were thinking if this is necessary, but it's the same. It's the same mounting mechanism. And then later on, it will be just one adapter, so
Yep.
you can
So you can
switch
swap 'em out.
between exactly.
Well, this is huge because depending on where I'm teaching or depending on where we're operating, sometimes a full face shield, not just a visor, is mandated. So the fact that we're not going to have to take, an Allen key out and unscrew and rescrew things is great. If that just clips on and off, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, so later on you can just.
Oh, okay. I see. So these are the slightly different ones.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but then later on it's gonna be
That'll integrate as
just
well.
like this, and then you have it.
Oh, nice.
So
Look
you
how
can-
badass that is. Black on black on black. Okay, let me try this one on here really quick. Because In addition to having an extremely tiny head, I was blessed with a frickin' huge nose. And sometimes with full face shields, it rubs my nose. That's cool. Clicks, clicks. That's super important because with some of the other guys too, there's not that index. And if you don't have that index, I mean, it takes 2 or 3 weeks and then it's just floppy and it's all over the place. Oh yeah, clears my nose, thank God. Oh yeah, that's sweet. Full coverage right down below my chin, and then it flips completely out of sight. Yeah, in fact, I might even run this over the visor because, like, you know, you can still wear safety glasses.
True. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I dig it. And then how does the, we don't need to put it on the helmet, but how does that mount on the brim? Is it just sort of pressure fit in there? Or is this a molded screen?
Oh, it's a molded screen, and then it's part of the, so you don't.
This is one piece.
This
then.
is one piece.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
The reason why I had to click it back on, it's basically just for, because obviously this is the same part, the top part, and then only the mesh changes. But you will get it like a full
piece. Okay.
Piece, exactly. This is just.
Yeah, that's good because obviously, like, there's face screens on the market that you sort of wedge into position, so it makes it changeable. But the irony is that the face screen never wears out. The rotating bracket always is what wears out, and the face screen is only worth a couple dollars. No, this is smart, having it in there nice and tight. And I see that you've sort of like plastic welded it into position. Yeah, so it's almost like rivet welded. Cool, looks durable. And then that'll be 87 Z80. Oh yeah, it's right there. ANSI Z87. Cool.
And then you got your branding on there, of course, as well.
Right, yeah. Fill it up with like face tattoos. Put a teardrop right there. Nice. Yeah, cool. Good for you guys. Or us.
Or us,
however it is that I fit into this crazy picture.
Okay, what else do we got? We have this one.
I'm really excited to see like these high-vis ones fully built out too.
Okay.
So earmuffs, got visors, face shields.
Get into the more fun stuff.
Oh, cool.
I think.
The cape.
Yeah, the cape.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, I'm sure I can figure it out. Is this going to integrate back here,
yes,
but on the inside? Nice. So there's a couple slots. That's going to click in there. That's going to click in there. That's going to click right there. Boom.
And then for this one, I have to say, as for now, we are not sure with the color yet.
Okay.
Maybe it will be something a bit more.
Well, one thing that some folks like, right away you're thinking debris and you're thinking material and stuff, but when I see this, I think sun.
Oh, sun, definitely sun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think more sun. Like a little bit of sawdust down your neck is one thing, but the back of our necks get sunburned terribly. So what I do is I wear like a buff or something like that under my helmet, but not in between my ears and my muffs because I want that tight seal. But something like this would be nice. Plus, you can take it on and take it off if you don't like it.
Yeah, and this is, the fabric is also like UV tested.
UV, yeah.
And
ripstop nylon of some kind, it looks like.
Yeah, the Australians and the people from New Zealand, they require like a high UV protection.
Makes sense because the skin cancer rates in those countries is through the roof. Yeah. And then this is a high vis stripe right here too, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean gray. It would make sense to maybe do like white or something like that, but like you said, the color isn't finalized.
Yeah, maybe we go for something a bit more like the EDELRID green.
Oh yeah.
Not sure yet, but then on the other hand, this is more neutral, so it would appeal to more.
Yeah. I was just thinking in terms of like having the sun on this. I wonder if just like the way that the fabric is, in that like it is relatively thick. Yeah, it's going to breathe a tiny little bit, but the air inside is more important. I'm just wondering, will this heat up at this color?
Not more than any other material, than any other color from the same material.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I mean, black I think would probably heat up more,
but not too much. As much. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it literally just presses into position there. Yeah. Simple friction fit. And then if you wanted to, well, I guess you're not really worried about it getting pulled out. because it's easy enough to just slide right back in.
And then again, I think this is a part where in case it gets caught in something you want it to.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Back there.
Yeah, I dig it. Very cool. What do you call it? The bib?
Neck protector.
Oh, okay.
We went a bit.
Yeah.
We need to appeal to all the people.
Okay.
And it comes hand in hand with this great piece.
All
which
right.
I'm gonna wear on every helmet.
Show me.
This is great. I love it. I love it. It gives a bit of holiday feeling. You know?
Yeah,
You're wearing a sun hat.
So that's tropical tactical, right?
Yeah.
And tropical tactical may be my favorite look.
Well, it's either tropical tactical or just tropical holiday. You know, from the worksite
Yeah.
straight to the beach.
Oh man, but on black it's tactical.
On black, it's tactical. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, what it basically is, it's a brim like on a sun hat.
Yeah.
So you can see it's quite a tight fit with a elastic.
That is
And on the inside there is some
tack.
some
Yeah.
rubber, so it stays, and then
position.
you put it like on the headlamp clips.
Well, like right away when I look at that, the fact that you could use this in conjunction with the bib on the back for bolting roots and stuff like this, that would be really nice. Yeah, look at that. It even folds up like a cowboy hat. I dig it. Yeah.
And then-
Might not be like an everyday wear, but it is cool to have it as
for me, it's gonna be an everyday
Oh, for
wear.
you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Just because inside doesn't matter.
I'm a fan, dude.
It looks great. It looks great.
Do we have a mirror? We need a mirror in here. This is awesome. Actually, I'm gonna look on my phone or maybe on this. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very John Wayne. I dig it.
Very
Cool. What do you call this?
I think sun brim. So
I
also
was gonna say the brim.
yeah, the brim.
The brim. It's tropical tactical, folks. Oh yeah. Like if you're a supervisor,
Oh yeah, this is
right? Like if you're just gonna be a white helmet every day, this is the move.
this screams authority.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you walk on the job side with this, I'll listen to you.
Yeah, no one's talking back.
Yeah.
We just got to flip that buckle. And got buckles on there backwards. That's awesome.
Okay, yeah, we'll bring some.
I'm ordering some of these right away.
And I've got one more.
And then a
session.
high vis brim.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good.
Exactly, for some reflection.
Hell
And
yeah.
then same. I mean, the color is the same.
Yep.
Maybe we'll go for something else, but I have to say this is like it fits with all the.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is sort of like a
If
one.
the
like
if
a
the
one
sales
color.
go through the roof, then we might do some
Yeah.
some fun colors. I don't
and that's reinforced there too. That's
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
Yeah,
to
I didn't
keep-
realize
so it
that.
doesn't-
Yeah.
Because it's not just sun, could also be some rain protection.
Yeah, oh for sure, rain protection or just sawdust and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because a lot, like one thing that does happen, like if the visor doesn't seal, which your guys does, but you know that sawdust always finds its way down
Yeah.
into your eyelids and stuff. So that's totally cool. Yes, the brim.
Brim.
Okay, what else you got?
Okay, one last. I like this one because it looks so
Oh,
out of place, but
dude.
it's like something so obvious.
Yeah.
I would say.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
This has got to be called the bill, the duck bill.
duckbill. I think it.
Okay.
Maybe we can change some names. to it.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and I don't want to wreck anything. Oh, it just slides right in, goes in front of the strap. Boom.
I mean, it looks great on the yellow because you got the high
Oh
contrast.
yeah, it literally looks like a duck brim. This would be really good glacier travel, right? Keeping the sun off of your face a little bit, and then also if you ended up going rafting, because rafting helmets always have that brim. Oh yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you guys kind of thought of it all. What else can we put on a helmet? Beer
Well,
can holders?
we've
Yeah,
thought about beer can holders.
The
This
beer
might be
can.
a good 3D print.
Yeah.
Maybe we just put the stuff online. You can DIY it.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, and there's like you can still see through it, so it's not affecting your field of vision. Like your peripheral is still right where it needs to be. Oh yeah. Good thinking. Still run it with muffs. And still run it with the bib off the back if you want.
You can also run it with the sun brim, but then it's a bit pointless.
Yeah.
So you could.
Huh. Good thinking. I dig it. Well done. The duck bill, though, I mean, like, come on. Especially on a
maybe we
yellow
go for
helmet
the
where it's
duck,
really
yeah.
good. The duck. Yeah, cool. Good for you guys. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.
This is rad. Did we cover everything on your cards?
I think we did. Yeah. Just bits and pieces, but we've already.
So then I guess as the consumer, you buy your shell, and then retailers would just ideally have a whole bunch of the accessories.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So from the stickers to all the accessories you've seen.
And you're not going to bother putting it together in like packages, like a forestry package or a rafting package or a whatever package. You kind of want to make a modular system. You decide what you want. Yeah.
I guess for now, because then you have to keep it in stock.
No, I believe, like, I think just keeping it fully modular is the way to go, especially considering that you really, like, you have one that would work in the shop if you're working on metal. You have one that's in the shop if you're working on chainsaws or whatever. And yeah, rafting or glacier travel or sun work, or if you're bolting routes or whatever, this is totally cool.
And then if you're looking at specifically rope access, it's such a broad field of stuff you actually do when you're hanging in ropes.
Well, like we were saying, sometimes you're washing windows,
Yeah.
sometimes you're drilling holes,
Yeah.
sometimes you're running a circular saw. Like who knows what you're doing? Yeah. No, it looks awesome. Cool. The
TECTUM.
TECTUM. I got it. I dig it.
I have no idea how we are with the time, because I think after 2 minutes the laptop, the watch.
It did.
No idea. It could be 5 minutes.
Do we stick to half an hour? I feel like we're close. Oh, we got thumbs up from the camera guy.
Thumbs up as we can talk more.
There we go.
Okay.
Well, hey man, it's always good seeing you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thanks for
sharing,
being
and
here.
I'll take 12.
I'll